The ambassador comes off like a complete idiot, and Bill doesn't hold back. Let's take a look. And Bill, keep doing what you do.
A lot of establishments, restaurants and others, are not selling nor serving American products. And Hoekstra, Ambassador Hoekstra, says that that's an insult and says that his quote here I found interesting. He says, "We have never done anything like that to Canada. You've stabbed us in the back, Ambassador. At least your boss has, anyway." I mean, what happens here and what the Canadian government and the provincial governments in Ontario and BC and so many other different provinces have done right now is respond to what Trump has done. Do you get it?
Well said, Bill. What's happening in Canada isn't random. It's a direct response to the actions of the United States government. But Pete doesn't see it that way. Instead, he's trying to spin it and gaslight Canadians into thinking we're the problem.
This was not a unilateral decision. This is a response to the Trump administration basically instilling not just prohibitive, but crippling tariffs on Canadian industry that have had significant impacts, devastating impacts on the steel industry, on the aluminum industry, on the lumber industry, so many others. Canola, of course, out west is another element, and also a blatant attempt to try to not just circumvent, but almost bury the Canadian auto industry.
All valid points. Donald handpicked an ambassador to Canada who's just as slimy as he is. And honestly, if we could return him for a refund or swap, we'd probably end up with someone just as bad. Up next is a clip of Republican Senator Kevin Cramer. He recently came to Canada to meet with our Prime Minister, and his speech, well, it sounds exactly like what you'd expect from a polished politician. But don't worry. Once he's done, I'll give you the translated version of what he really meant. Let's get into it.
The real point of today and the reason I came up here with my colleagues was to let Canada know that America is open for business. We want to help both countries lean in to the challenge in front of us and seize the opportunities that it presents. Wanted to, of course, be here to meet the new Prime Minister to encourage him and his administration. And the reality is I hope we were an encouragement, Colton, but they certainly were an encouragement to us.
So Kevin Cramer, along with a so-called bipartisan group, came to Canada to meet with our Prime Minister. He says it's about building relationships and seizing opportunities. Opportunities for what exactly? To join the Golden Dome? To become the 51st state? To bow down to Donald? Yeah, no thanks. Now, that's just my take. And you're welcome to sound off in the comments if you see it differently. But I have a feeling part of that visit was to quietly tell our government that the US economy is starting to feel the pressure, and that it's time to make a deal. Let's be clear. The government didn't start this boycott. We did, as Canadians, as citizens. There's always an angle, and it's never as innocent as they make it sound. Up next, we've got a clip from an American who actually gets it. He calls out Trump for the disaster he's causing. And to wrap it up, we'll end on a lighter note, a clip that perfectly sums up just how delusional and uneducated some Trump supporters really are. Hope you enjoy the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.
$12.5 billion in expected lost revenue here across the United States. That is the result of Trump's crazy tariffs and all this other crap that he's pulling on everybody. Look at Canadians alone. 30% of travel that Canadians had planned in the United States this year has been canceled. Same thing for Europe. Nobody is traveling to the United States now. They're afraid to. People are afraid to travel to the United States. They think something will happen to them here because they're not citizens and whatever. And vice versa. A lot of Americans, especially people who are here on visas, permanent visas and whatnot, even though they have every legal right to live here, they fear that they will not be able to get back into the country when they take a trip. So travel revenue to Europe is predicted to be way down. All this is a result of Trump. Trump, the man who is going to create jobs, who is going to, slash our budgets and just make America great again. He's destroying it. $12.5 billion. That's how much money we are going to lose in revenue across the United States this year alone. $12.5 billion.
This message is for Americans. Are you okay? What do you get taught in school? Because this is the second comment that I've received from an American assuming Canadians live near the US border because we love America. This person also thinks we call ourselves North American because we love America. There is a reason why the world thinks that Americans are stupid, okay? You're really living up to your stereotype.
What's the dumbest thing an American has ever said to you?
I'm from Niagara Falls, and at least 5 times a night at my restaurant job, an American would ask me when we turn off Niagara Falls. When do we turn it off? I told them 10 p.m. every night.